Welcome to the Bold Analysis. A host of parliamentarians are in Russia for a summit. Now, consequently, the ODM Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Otsotsi led a delegation of ODM leaders to the headquarters of United Russia Party. United Russia Party is the ruling party, if I'm not wrong. So this meeting, and rather this trip, has already creating jitters within the parliament precincts when a couple of MPs that are perceived as rebels were actually left out. And so in this podcast, we are going to look at why Edwin Sifuna was actually knocked out of the Russia script, and why Odinga would actually make a big mistake to lose Edwin Sifuna. That I don't know what you think, guys. Before even delve deep, what do you think if Odinga loses Edwin Sifuna? Before that, thank you very much. Thank you very much, deep from my heart, for supporting our July project. We were supporting this lady Faith Wambui. Hapa ndio nyumba huyu mama alikuwa anaishi. And when we went there, we found hapa ndio alikuwa anaishi. Actually, what had happened, alikuwa na post-birth trauma. She lost her job. The husband disappeared. So she was forced to live there na watoto wake. So when we took there, of course, that place was in a very sorry state. So what we decided to do is to make it better. And we are putting up a house for her. Ndio tumeacha David. This is the state of that house. We are finishing this Saturday, and this is the remaining part. I got the children. Huyu ni msichana wake ambaye yuko secondary school. So we are supposed to clear her fees. Ako form 3, so we clear the remaining ya hii semester, ya hii term, and then next term and the whole of next year. Huyu msichana anaitwa Harriet. Then apart from Harriet, there is also this other boy, Munene. Munene is in junior. So look, hiyo uniform anavaa hata si uniform ya shule. Hiyo si yenyeletwa nayo. He doesn't actually have the uniform. So we are supposed to get Munene 2 pairs of uniform, which we are hoping that we should be able to get by that Saturday. Tumpeleke. And then a pair of shoes. That is Munene. This is the boy. And then there is the girl, Joy. Joy is also ile class ya PP2 or something. Ako hapo chini. She also doesn't have a school uniform. Yeah, no uniform. So we also hoping to get her 2 pairs of uniform and then a pair of shoes, so that on Saturday when we'll be handing over the house, the mattresses and the beddings, the other things that we were supposed to give to Tawapatia. And I want to say thank you very much. That is what we've reached, and those who still feel to be part of this, you can help in that part. Na tujue kwamba we will really have achieved it. Now, without much ado, I want us to look at this. Letter, this statement from the ODM party. This is what ODM is saying. Deputy Party Leader Senator Godfrey Otsotsi yesterday led a group of party members of parliament into a consultative meeting with officials of the United Russia Party URP at the party headquarters in Moscow, Russia. They were hosted by Mr. Andrei Klimov, a member of Supreme Council of the party and also the deputy chairperson of Federal Council's Committee on Foreign Relations. During the meeting, they held bilateral talks on cooperation between the two parties and how they can work together in strengthening political party diplomacy. Deputy Party Leader used the opportunity to present a message of goodwill from the party leader, His Excellency Raila Odinga, to the leadership of United Russia Party. The meeting was one of the activities on the sidelines of the visit by Kenyan legislators to Russia. I wanted to mark that, a visit by Kenyan legislators to Russia. Members present at the meeting included Honorable Buru Odinga, a trustee of the party, a trustee of the party, a trustee of the party. And Sia Senator Honorable Tiende Amolo, National Vice Chairperson and MP Rareda constituency, and Honorable Paul Matuya, MCA Kitengela Ward. Those are the people. And of course, the party Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, who is the key person for the party in this context, was absent in this. Now, one thing I wanted to get here is, when it comes to these trips outside Parliament, I think it is it's a different terrain altogether. And when you listen to Oruoba saying that female MPs sometimes have to part with some sexual favors.
Ignored my letter. I have complained within the powers that be in Senate, including to the Speaker. They have ignored all my complaints. I complained in the official WhatsApp group that, listen here, I think because I said I'm not going to sleep with this guy and I don't want to participate in his sexual advances, that is why I am being removed from certain trips, I'm being removed from certain legislative agenda, my bills are being put at the back, that is why I'm being targeted with unlawful and all sorts of crazy things and shenanigans, such as 6 months suspension. That is why also, as you can see, they forced me to put in an apology, which Jeremiah Nyegenye, through that committee that prepared, added his name. And remember when I was telling you people that this guy is going to use this thing in court, he went and used it in court as a submission. Now, I am a believer of the judicial system, and I do believe that as much as there are many legal loopholes that criminals, rapists, murderers are using to win cases, I do believe in the judicial system. That is why I have placed an appeal. I am going to appeal this judgment that has come out. I've had people saying, oh, 10 million, oh, when it rains, it pours, I don't know what. The machinery that is even being used to push this narrative is the UDA machinery that is actually supporting people like Jeremiah Nyegenye to continue with these things that they are doing in Parliament. Every single person that has worked in Parliament or has had an interaction in Parliament will tell you there is sexual harassment in Parliament. They will tell you they don't speak about it because this is what happens to you when you speak about it. So, and I mean, we are living in the times where we have seen even politicians being put on platforms and being told to turn around so that we can see you're behind. This is a culture that somebody has to say no to. And I know that there is a price to pay to say no to that. And I'm willing and ready and capable to pay the price, because I was raised as a person who does not exchange sexual favors for whatever. That is not how my father raised me. And anyone who has been in my space knows, in fact, wanasema unajiringa, unajifanya, but that is not who I am. And there are many girls and many women who are finding themselves in compromising situations. You saw how Sabina Chege, actually a woman of her stature and her age.
I didn't want to go there though, with some sexual favors on them to get their way out of, rather to get some of those privileges. They will actually understand how this happens. There are a couple of MPs, ODM MPs, Amisi, the Babu Winos, and Paul Odour, and others who were supposed to be part of this that could not make. And what happened here is the Parliamentary Service Commission, which is the body that okays the MP to leave, is what can be at the disposal of those decision makers to make sure you don't get your way. ODM XG, speculation has been going around that in the ODM corridors that Sifuna, who have not been reporting in the SG office for a couple of 3 months now, could be a candidate for a shuffle in the next National Delegates Conference that has been called in the month of October. When they called the NDC, remember, apart from the Secretary General and the party leader, all those others are actually even including party Secretary General, apart from the party leader, all those others are actually working in acting capacity. There were supposed to be grassroots elections that are supposed to culminate into an NDC in October. The October NDC is largely seen as part of the platform where Odinga is going to launch his standpoint in 2027. launching standpoint in 2027 will include who is the Secretary General of the party moving forward. Because Odinga will have, and I can tell you Odinga has a decision, Raila has a decision as to whether he's going to vie or not. No one should lie to you that he still doesn't know, he's still thinking, there is nothing like he's waiting. He's just snailing around, but he knows which direction he's gonna take. And Sifuna has been crossing paths with some party rank and file, and even the broad-based characters, the broad-based leaders who got their way to cabinet, who not once or twice have come out to castigate Sifuna, not to be embracing them, even though they come from ODM party. And this was Mbadi during Charles Ongondowere's burial. So he's been a man on target. Raila faced the dilemma, and Raila is facing the dilemma of pushing out Sifuna and handing over the party to the full loyalists, or retaining Sifuna with the danger that if he chooses to work with William Ruto, it will be an uphill task to convince Sifuna to go all the way endorsing President Ruto. It will be an uphill task. My position has been that Sifuna was maintained there for the sake of, Sifuna is normally there for the sake of balance. Raila is second guessing, and was putting Sifuna there to checkmate, because he did not want to foresee the march of the toxic worship, even though he's the one doing it. Now, why Sifuna seemed to have been locked out of the Russia trip? I want to explain that, and then look at the danger of leasing Sifuna. I think the party, some quarters within the party, are sending the signal of isolation, discontent. And it's a coded message to Sifuna that if you can be denied this, you denied another one, then you start reading the signs like, wait here, something is not being said here verbally, and it's saying there's someone is saying something here I need to understand in another language. Now, Raila probably also believes that their quarters will also believe that Sifuna is leading the rebel Babu group. Yes, those who look at so. But of late you'll realize that he's not really attending most of those hyped party events. Several of those party events, hyped events, he's not really a frequent attender of those ones. In fact, the only person, one of few MPs or senators who has never stepped to State House since William Ruto came to power is Edwin Sifuna. Go and check the photo of Edwin Sifuna in State House after 2022 general election, and please, if you have one, send it to my WhatsApp. Or just show me where I can get. You will not get, to ODM wote washaienda State House. Wote washaienda, except Sifuna. And you can challenge my fact on that. I'll be glad to look at it. And you could see the engagement they had about the Shisha shenanigans. And then there could also be internal party affairs that they didn't want just to be out. Maybe they didn't want to say Sifuna. And to me, it's a signal. However, I want to expand a bit this. Odinga cannot afford to lose Sifuna. If you ask me, you rather lose Junet, but don't let Sifuna go. And anyone advising Odinga that Sifuna is a thorn in the flesh and so Sifuna should leave, that person is doing a disservice to the ODM party. He's more relevant when he's within the party than when he's out. And it's based on, my argument is this. Sifuna is grounded. As a Secretary General of the party, you need a grounded politician that is not insecure. I think on Nairobi, he has maintained standing on the side of the people. And no one should lie to people that standing on the side of the people will make you lose. No. Sonko, that's how Sonko did his politics. He stood with the people. And he's really very popular around it. And so, he's grounded. And I don't, if I check around, I remember during when this case, deal was to be signed in KCC, you saw Ledama Olekina stand by there. Ledama Olekina was actually called to be standby because there was a feeling that Sifuna would decline to sign. By the way, if by that time the person who was supposed to replace Sifuna was supposed to be Ledama Olekina, the man who recently was hosting the president when the president was talking about building an airport in Narok that is not even existing. That one. The other reason why Odinga should not lose Sifuna is Sifuna could engineer and form a strong lawyer axis. Why? There are very strong politicians out there in the lawyer nation. I want you to imagine Sifuna walks out of ODM and the next place you see him is Trans Nzoia with Natembeya. Then they carry Natembeya and they go all the way to Bungoma and find Didimat Baraza as not Didimat Baraza, Tim Wanyonyi and Tim Wanyonyi are not part of UDA. And then they move there and go to Kakamega and find out that Boniface Boni Khalwale is no longer UDA. And just around Mumias East there is Peter Salasia. Come on. Come on. And the sorts wants to be governor in Vihiga. So you don't let him go, because what the damage he will do outside there, I can tell you, Odinga, I'm a bit convinced. Odinga doesn't have Western. Someone can convince. Odinga doesn't have Western, and the little he has will go. Especially Nairobi, the little he has in Nairobi will go with Sifuna. So someone should not lie to him of losing Sifuna. The other second thing is Sifuna can form a rebel force to upset Nairobi vote. There is a vote here, and I want to tell you the ballot box of 2013, that is Uhuru Raila vote, and then there was, not 2013, that could be 2017, Uhuru Raila, then Sonko was vying against who? It was Sonko, was it Sonko Kidero if I'm not wrong? Sonko Kidero, when Sonko defeated Kidero. Do you know, Sonko had more votes in the governor's seat than what Uhuru Kenyatta had. 200,000 more votes than what Uhuru Kenyatta had. Now, if you lose Sifuna and Sifuna goes for Senate, and then you lose Babu Owino because you cannot give him the ODM ticket and he goes for governor, and those two people are campaigning out there, how will you be able to convert the Nairobi vote to your preferred candidate? And even these MPs, and Nairobi vote doesn't just mean the governor's vote. Even these MPs might suffer. Yes. The TJ Kajwangs, you know those people, they also depend on the ODM vote. The ODM vote has to be solid. If that vote is divided, Rigathi Gachagwa's party is not a joke. Akona vijana hapo wa DCP na the Gen Z na ako hapo. And Kalonzo vote is gone. You can't afford to lose the Luhya vote, even in this city. Haya, tuonane bwana.